In Winterfell, Queen Sansa has asked Edmure Tully and his wife to come in for a visit. You summoned me? Yes. I just got a scroll from my brother, the three-eyed raven, King Brandon Stark, of the realm of the kingdoms, that apparently when he was appointed and elected, you were to have House Tully back, which would be actually something I would have to agree with. Oh, you would? Yes. After all, House Tully was in my mother's family for generations. And while the House Tully was given by the deceased King Slaer to a Frey and his wife from House Lannister, has always disturbed me. No offense to you. No, that is okay. And she walks at the window, looking out, then back at Sansa. However, he has given a scroll that orders him to release House Tully back to you. I believe that was agreed upon when everyone in a committee, because there was no one to claim the original, well, since there was no Iron Throne of Swords, the Red Keep. And so that's why he was appointed king of the realm of kingdoms in the Red Keep. Is that not so? It is. But I didn't think it was ever going to take place since I've been waiting for so long. Well, now your wait is over. You do realize he's not going to give up without putting up a bit of a possible resistance. And since he also knows how House Tully is fortified to stand a long siege, it could be difficult. Yes, but didn't you get access before when somebody refused to open the gate? That is true. That's only if they didn't change anything. However, I'll know once I inspect it. As to his putting up a resistance, I think that House Stark is still call on some of its allies. After all, he's only going to have Frey forces. And considering how Freys were, well, I can already know who is behind most of the Freys, family and lords, being slaughtered as much as they did our family during the Red Wedding. I don't see too much of a resistance. However, we shall meet their resistance with resistance. And he'll have no choice but to surrender it. Well, he's going to want something in return. Exactly. Since we already know that House Bolton of the Dreadfort has been empty for so long, though personally I wouldn't wish that wasteland on anybody, I will simply offer it to him. After all, why have a castle that's perfectly good condition going to waste? And if he is the good lord that everybody seems to say he is, then he should have men clean the place up. There was a report that Gregor and Sandor Clegane's sister, a while back, had made her appearance with a petition to claim that which was rightfully hers of House Clegane. King Brandon granted it, and even Tyrion Lannister said that maybe she'll have some people clean the place up because it looked pretty bad anyway. Sounds interesting. Alright, so what do we do at this point then, Your Grace? We have to rally up what men we know that are available and prepare to meet this Lord Frey of House Tully, not House Frey. I will not call it that. Very well then. Well, when you're ready, let me know, Your Grace. I will be at your side. And as for you, looking at Edmure's wife, I want you to know this is nothing against you. You have proven yourself many times over being loyal, and you will be ruling House Tully by his side. So technically speaking, This would then make you a queen of House Tully. She kind of smiles a bit about this. I've never been a queen before. Well, don't worry. It's something to get used to, and I'm sure if there are certain things you're not sure of what to do as a queen, Edmure, of course, wouldn't know anything about being a queen. He just kind of shakes his head. But I do, and I can help you with that. Alright. So with that, then, House Stark prepares to rally forces to force the one short Frey lord and his Lannister wife out of House Tully once and for all. At Dragonstone, things start to go off pretty good between Queen Daenerys Targaryen and Queen Margery Tyrell. Well, I hear you've had a child. Yes, I have. So have I. But unfortunately, my husband committed suicide because though I do not intend to offend you, because I know you have a great distaste for her, as do I, because I'd never cared for her either. She tried to murder me by having the great Sept of Baelor destroyed with everyone in it and most of my family, including me and my brother, but I managed to survive. My brother, unfortunately, while saving me and my unborn child, had injured his ribs, and I can only imagine that he was possibly one choking on his blood, but he never told me, and he just never woke up. This is Tommen II Baratheon. Daenerys looks at him, studies him. You are a well-blessed mother, then, for to survive such and not lose your child. Yes, well, the experience was more than I care to describe, but we both survived. Well then, this here is my daughter, and while the circumstances are not the same as yours, the one that betrayed me failed to realize I was already pregnant. So, technically, I and my unborn child did die. But there were others that thought I should come back, but it was not yet my time to be gone from this world. So, though I'm not permitted to say how it was done, as I was brought back from the abyss, which I prefer to call it, as I had told you before, but for your understanding, yes, when I was brought back from the dead, I guess they didn't realize that my unborn child was brought back from the dead as well. Unfortunately, because of that experience, the only thing I lacked was the ability to breastfeed my daughter. This here is Daenerys Targaryen. Queen Mary looks her over. Wow, you are a blessed mother then. Well, thank you. I can't say the experience was exhilarating as yours was, but she did survive. And, well, she would be the princess now. Let us sit down and speak plainly. So they both take a seat. If it's alright with you, I shall have my wet nurse look after our little ones, so that we will not have any interference. That is fine. And Grey Worm, you can go ahead and make a distance, so that we can show no hostilities towards our guest. That is a good idea. Praying Manus, you can go ahead and give us some distance as well. After all, since this is our first time meeting, we must have a meeting of mutual trust. I agree. So, you want to speak plainly then? Yes. I am not sure what is going on, because considering from everything I've had people go out and do some, how would you say, scouting on, once you rally forces, you would have more than enough to drive this Lord Bronn out, a sellsword who has high gardens of House Tyrell. So, what I don't understand is why would they need me? Well, you do recall that I heard, that is, though I was still trapped at the time when it occurred, that Jaime Lannister had tried to pick up a spear when your original dragon Drogon was down with a spear in him, sent out by a dragon sling bolt gun. Yes, I do remember this. So you do know who fired the shot. I thought it was Jaime Lannister, but no, it actually was the same man who, a sellsword, has custody of my house. I see. He and I have some unfinished business, but do go on. Well, I guess my understanding is that if we work together, apparently you would be doing me a favor showing the power, since I hear you have 3 new dragons. I do. One is a she-male dragon, and she won't be as nice as Drogon. In fact, she is a lot bigger, a little bit more fierce. However, she kind of thinks with a slight smile. It would be interesting to see if I could make Bronn crap his armor, seeing that a dead queen is back alive again. Queen Mary laughs about this, and Daenerys seems to have a smile about this as well. Well, that would be an interesting sight. But what if he decides to resist? Now, as you said, I could probably have enough forces rallied, although probably a small third would still rally to his side, which is fine. That just means then when Bronn loses, those houses have already made their choice, and I don't house traitors. Good, neither do I. So, we can hope that he will just give in and surrender. And Queen Margery takes out her scroll. I have an order from King Brandon Stark, the three-eyed raven. And while I do understand that you also find it quite unusual, as I did, that one should be appointed and elected, not even by royal traditions of inheriting the Red Keep, though there is no Iron Throne of Swords yet, he has given an order, and it'll be up to Bronn to obey it. If not, then it makes him a heretic. And as we all know, heretics have no place in the realm of the kingdoms. So he will either try to charge in the blaze of glory for a glorious death. Then Daenerys finishes it off what she's about to say. Or he's going to choose death. Death by your mercenaries. Death by dragon. Death by unsullied warriors. Or death by your rallied forces. Yes, so either way, his only choice is death. That means it's how he wants to die, unless he obeys the order given with the King Brandon seal and gives up Highgarden willfully. Perhaps he wants to die because his best friend Jaime Lannister is now alive. After all, he must not care for the woman that he got the first castle with, and as King Brandon said, he does not need 2 of them. I would agree. Well, there is something I must do. But if we're going to have this treaty, then you and I, as I said, we need to speak plainly. When I help you gain your house, I will expect something in return. And you want me to do what? You will enforce my claim on the Red Keep. You need not worry, because I don't think King Brandon, the crippled, is one to start a war. He seems to be, for a Stark, one who is passive and would more or less give up the crown willingly than to see a lot of bloodshed. But didn't you... Yes, I made a mistake. And that was part of my being recalled back from the abyss. I was told by one who raised me that when a queen admits her mistakes, it shows she has gained much wisdom and will never make or repeat those mistakes ever again. I have already made my confessions. I have restudied the histories of the annals. They wanted to make sure that and as much as I would not intentionally say this to dishonor my father, not to be like King Ares II, so my memories are intact. And I have additional training of swordsmanship skills. Wow, so you've been busy. Yes, but they're only for mere self-defense, if one was to get past my 3 new dragons. I will be given a sword, and it shall be named Queen's Justice, as my reward for having becoming a warrior queen. But it's not over from there. I have to do a Targaryen ritual, baptism by water, for reconciliation, because I've reconciled my mistakes. And then I have to drink special blue holy waters that are only a tradition within the secret Targaryen temple. Those waters purify my soul, and what's in the past remains in the past. Anyone who brings it up would be in jeopardy of facing judgment by the House Targaryen's holy temple. So that is my reclamation of regaining not only my reputation, but having claim to the new Iron Throne of Swords, which I was informed the Iron Islands is in charge of building if it's not already constructed now. They merely wait for Kinvara, who you have already met, to say the word so that they can meet us outside the gates of King's Landing, and then the throne will be reinstalled, and I will have the throne. While I do miss the original throne because it dates back to Aegon the Conqueror, it is nevertheless an Iron Throne of Swords, but in a much more royal status. I understand. So, if you know for certain then there's not going to be a war by King Brandon, I suppose I can support your claim. Good, then we have a clear understanding of our arrangement. Yes. Well then, I don't see anything more that we should discuss. I know that we have to prepare, well, at least I have to prepare for the final rituals before I can give you support on House Tyrell in Highgarden. If you like, though it is not something we always open to just anyone, and since we are new allies and friends, I can invite you to join, and hopefully you will not be too modest, because my baptism I have to be naked. Well, not that I would try to advertise everything, but I have no modesty about nakedness either, being a Tyrell. We believe in love rather than war. Well, then it seems we have a little more in common than we realize. That is good then. So, I have to go get ready, and I will be back shortly because there is a special parade after we get on board and sail across to the mainland. Feel free to make yourselves comfortable. When we are done, we will have a dinner banquet, and you and your mercenaries are guests, as far as I am concerned. Well, thank you, Queen Daenerys. And this formality is going to sound strange, but I would say you're welcome, Queen Margery. Perhaps we should just address ourselves by name, because I'm sure that those who serve us might get a wooing headache hearing Queen this and Queen that. Yes, I guess it would be Queen the Queen. So, with that, Daenerys walks up, gets up, and leaves with her handmaiden to get ready for the final Targaryen ritual to reconcile and reclaim her rightful claims to the Red Keep with a brand new Iron Throne of Swords. In this scene, it fades in where Jon Snow, also known as Prince Aegon VII Targaryen, and the other brothers of the Night's Watch enter into the castle of the damned. Aegon VII Targaryen, with four trusted ranger brothers of the Night's Watch, investigating as to what Big Walter Frey was running from, and why a red priest known as Cag was warning them to not seek that which Big Walter Frey was running from. They enter in the ominous castle-like structure, which part is still buried under a huge mountain of slope of snowdrift. So, this is the place. Never seen this place before. Looks like Lord Commander Jon Snow and other rangers. Alright, everybody, stay alert. Omar, I want you and Mr. Curious here, to gather some of the other brothers and look about the outside of this castle. Take note of what you see and report back to me here. Me and the other two are going to check things out here and see what we find out on the inside. So it's a big place. Try not to follow anything that would lead to your own doom. And make sure the man you're in charge of, the men of scouts, the area cautiously. We have never been here before and don't know what traps may or may not be on the outside of these walls. The more ground we cover, the quicker we can get out of here. Ulmer and Wet and Stout go back outside to rally the other crows on a scouting of the outside of the castle of the dam perimeter. Both rangers and Jon Snow come up to the altar prep area covered in ash. Found something. What is this? Is that... Oh, by the gods. It looks like this guy was gutted like a fish, and part of his flesh has been torn or eaten. Covers his mouth with a gloved hand in disgust. Jon squats down to look at it, then covers his nose and mouth. Isn't he supposed to be a White Walker? No. If he was a White Walker, he wouldn't be here. It's not something I have ever seen before. With a gloved hand, Jon hovers his hand over the corpse. It's true. It looks like he has been gutted like a fish, or a beast from a hunt. And he has been burned from the inside out. Well, it looks like I found something over here. Black Benar and Jon gather near area where there is some broken glass. Winton Stout of the Night's Watch enters the altar prep area. Black Benar, I found something that can't be explained. Jon looks at both of them. Alright, I'll go check it out. You remain here and continue the search with Lord Commander Jon Snow and Muslimek. Black Benar then heads outside. So, what do we have here? Looks like vials. Sticks his gloved fingers in it. And when he lifts his hand, it looks like a slimy, sticky goo. You know, you ought to be careful where you stick your fingers. You don't know what that stuff will do. I think it was a potion of some sort, but why? Jon then leans up against a back table against a far wall, then looks up at a hole in the wall just above table. And apparently there is a hole here, like somebody was searching for something, but why the glass? They wouldn't do that if they were going to prepare someone for burial. And this place, we've never seen this place before in all the times we have been ranging. No, we haven't. Perhaps, what if, during the White Walker War, the Night King, when he killed Daenerys' first dragon, Aegon, when he was tearing down the wall with blue fire, that the heat of the fire melted the snow that covered or buried this place from long, long ago? That would make sense. Something that has been used in almost an eon ago, or ages ago. Alright, well, let's stick together and check out the next room over there. They come across another corpse. Man, the smell's bad. Oh, man, that smells. Oh. No, it's not like White Walkers. They don't usually look this bad. And like you said, they are usually up and gone. Yeah, I don't think these guys are going to be going anywhere anytime soon. They go downstairs to another level and find 2 more corpses. I think, wait, Ulmer and you, Winton, that were with me, saw what we believed to be big Lord Frey, running as if something was coming after him. And most likely, he wouldn't come up here by himself. I'm wondering if these other bodies here are from House Frey. Even though it's hard to tell, though, due to the bodies being badly burned. They didn't make it, but he did. Most likely, he wouldn't have had he not been fast enough. What if those broken glass vials had something to do with that red-robed priest that you said? You know, that weird man in the red robe? They head back to the altar prep room. Yes, he was on his way for something, and when I was about to pick up this Valyrian steel silver tube, that he called it, an ancient Valyrian scroll tube, he told me not to touch it, and he changed his mind about going to wherever he was headed because he saw the same man running, big Walder Frey. Do you think that they were trying to raise whoever did this? Maybe. Well, first off, sorcery is no longer allowed in the realm of the kingdoms. Second off, the only one who can raise someone from the dead was the Night King, and we destroyed him in battle during the Great White Walker War. Or maybe they woke something up by accident when they were trying to raise someone else, though that practice was condemned so long ago. You don't think it would be? No. The last time, and I know what you're going to say, the last time I saw Queen Daenerys, her last dragon, Drogon, flew off with her body. Nobody knows where Drogon took her body at that time. Couldn't be. But if they were cremating the body, there should have been some kind of bone fragments here on the altar. Walks over to the altar. There is nothing here but ash. That is true. Walks over to the altar as well. His feet stumble on some broken stone panels from the lower side of the altar. And it seems like a panel below this altar was broken. Looks down at the pieces of broken panel. Okay, so what if this tube was like something old and ancient, and it was somehow hidden behind this panel, and the panel got broken? Big Lord Frey might have picked it up, but somebody may have broken the vials and woke something else up. Something old and ancient, and from the smell, oh man. Close. You're right about one thing. The priest in the red robe did confirm that the silver Valyrian steel tube was ancient, from a civilization that no longer exists, since the Valyrian doom of old Valyria Free City. But as to what woke up, that is the mystery. Something not us, or something us, but from a period long, long ago. Then Jon recalls something from the lower level below them. Then there were the stone fragments from the next level down, where the last two bodies are. The stone fragments that are all over the floor, like something threw off, as if it weighed nothing, a sarcophagus top, and it shattered on the floor. So you're saying there is two people that have been awakened? Perhaps so. Remember when we looked inside the other sarcophagus that merely had the top lifted and shoved aside? And how you thought that drawing your sword will kill the manticores? Yeah, I remember. And you said they were already dead, that they died out after stinging whomever was inside there to death. And since they couldn't escape either, they died themselves. Right. First off, you might kill a few with your sword, but eventually you would be overwhelmed and stung to death. Fortunately for us, all of those manticores were already dead long ago. What would be such a crime to torture someone with no escape covered in manticores? Someone would have had to committed the worst offense long, long ago, and be sealed inside the sarcophagus with manticores dumped all over him till they are stung to death. But as I said, the manticores had no way to escape, so they would have died naturally themselves. And then something else woke up, something strong enough to kick off the top of a sarcophagus, so that it would land and shatter on the floor, or the other was looking for someone and threw it off and woke that person up. Yeah, maybe I'm going to make a wish that we will all be invisible gods of the spirit world. You know what? We don't want to hear that comment. Well, what are we accomplishing being here anyway? Well, we know that first off, if you really want to be certain as to why we're here, is that whatever woke up seems to have created unusual, magical, colorful clouds that you said had lightning like that of a thunderstorm. And when it happened again, it was normal thunderstorms, but with a heavy vibration. But why this man in the red robe and the broken vials? That's the thing I don't get. Ulmer from the Night's Watch Rangers and Black Benar returned back to the altar preparation chamber. My lord, you find something? Yeah. Me and some of the men have found many, many holes. Some of them go pretty deep. We had to be careful not to fall in. It seems like whatever came out of the holes melted the snow into ice around the holes as whatever was in the holes was coming out, which means they must have higher body heat or something. Yeah, right. Starts chuckling about that. Like fire and brimstone or something. Well, That is an interesting thought. I'm going to have to send a raven to my friend in King's Landing, Maester Sam Tarly. Since he is very good at reading, maybe he could find something about what this place is. Something about the worst criminals would have been condemned to. It would have to be at a time before Castle Black and the Wall of the Night's Watch ever came into existence. A time before the Brothers of the Night's Watch was ever formed. Well, we've done all we can do here, but we should stay on the alert. Any other strange things we need to keep an eye out for. I found something. Looks like strange writings. Everyone goes to the exit doorway of the long hall leading to the outside. They look up above the entryway and on both sides. It would seem like some type of hieroglyphic spells. Yeah, something that if it woke up, it can't leave. Then there is something in High Valyrian here. And you can read High Valyrian. Well, I can only get a grasp of it. Can't speak it, but can somewhat translate the writing of High Valyrian. Okay, so what does it say? It says, "Ye who enter shall be damned. Do not wake the evil which rests. If ye steal from the cursed dead, so shall ye be cursed in this life and to the next. If ye wake the evil that rests, ye shall surely die." Jon Snow raises both eyebrows for a moment. "Alright, enough of this. We need to leave now." "You don't think they are coming back, do you?" "No, it didn't attack you guys when you were about to give a warning shot from top of the wall. Or have one of your bowmen send a warning shot. I don't think it is going to make this place its home. I think it had a different agenda. What we need to find out is what the agenda was, and why is it that he or she is awake, and what the purpose of the Red Robe Priest was, and what they actually were doing out here." "Alright, let's get everyone together and head back. This place is giving me the creeps." "I couldn't agree with you more." So everyone leaves the Castle of the Dam, mounts their horses, and heads back to the Wall and to Castle Black, and thus ends the scene. In this next part, the Vizier and his Legion of Doom pass through the Dread Fort, or House, the old house that you once had the other bastard, who's no longer alive. Because we don't know where the other two descendants are, the Dread Fort of the Flayed Man is still empty. So there is no reason for them to even try to attack anyone at that place, and they just merely pass through. So, in this next part, we see a movement of the Legion of Doom still marching as they now prepare to go through a piece of Hornwood, but not to attack the entire house, just as they did not attack the entire place of House Karstark. So this again shows their next objective to attacking on the way to whatever their objective is, a part of the smaller houses of Hornwood.
sweep our destruction, and eventually this world will be ours.